Yes, guys, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Daily Dose podcast. Today, we have yet another very special guest on the show, someone I've been excited to have on for a while. He's personally one of my favourite writers. He's one of the original iBattle battlers, and he has been smashing it for quite a while now. DEGO DIAVOLO, what's going on, man?
Yo, thank you, for real, man. I appreciate it. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you very much for coming on, man. I appreciate it. And
Thank you.
jumping straight into the questions with yourself, like, how was it that you got into battle rap personally?
Shit. I mean, starting at like the very beginning, I was always like into music and stuff like that. Played instruments. I was in a bunch of bands and stuff like that. So, like I was around rap music. I always was a fan of it. I never really considered battling. My first like introduction to battling at all, I guess, was probably like early Smack DVD. There was like 2 Raw for the Streets. That's like the Reed versus Trigger shit. There was actually like this place in New Haven. It was an African hair braiding place, but in the back of the store, they had like all these like beaded sections, and you go back there and there was mad bootleg like DVDs, video games, like anime, anything you think of. And like when I was little, I would go there like with my mom once in a while, and I would get like a PS1 game for like $5 or something like that. And I remember they had like Smack Volume there, and that was like my first time ever like seeing like traditional battle rap. You know what I mean? Other than like just people fucking around, at school, like rhyming at each other, stuff like that. And I remember I like watched some Smack shit, and then I watched a little later on, like in high school, the WRCs were on. I don't know if you had like on demand out there. It was like a cable provider type thing where you could like watch shows that were like, you didn't have to wait for them to come on TV. They were like already on there. So like that was probably like, I don't know, between '05 and '07, something like that. And I watched all the WRC shit, all the jump off shit, and I was like, holy shit, like this is like, it was the World Rap Championships. I didn't even know that was like a thing, So that was kind of like where I got interested in it. I never thought of like actually battle rapping though. It was more of just like, something to watch. And then, like me and my friends would fuck around and freestyle and stuff. We got into like juice and waps because New Haven, especially, like if you don't know anything about New Haven, it's super Italian. So like seeing people like that with like the same type of like dialect and like the accents and shit like that, we were just like, holy shit, like, So we would like do the juice and waps type shit, just like freestyle, like multi type shit, making fun of each other. And that I guess was like my introduction to battle rap as a whole. And I would see like people battle rap at like bus stops and shit, waiting to go to school and stuff like that. And then after graduating, I went to school in New York. So I moved to New York right after high school. And same thing, like I was really big into making beats at the time. So like I was really on the music side of shit. I would freestyle over beats, but I was really into like the production more than the rapping. And I always like lyrics though. So like I was in like hardcore bands, metal bands, going back towards high school and shit like that. And I kind of gravitated towards rap because in a band you have to rely on like so many other people to like be there at the same time and like all doing the same thing. Whereas rap, you can kind of just make a beat, take it with you on a fucking like laptop, USB, whatever, and that's all you need. So it's like kind of just like convenient because like dealing with band members and shit, if anyone's ever been in a band, is just like a nightmare. So I was like, it sucked. So in college, I was really into beats, and I like networked a lot just like with local rappers and stuff like that. And I was more just so like providing production, and every once in a while, I'll, like hop in a cypher or like something like that. And then the first time I actually like battled, I guess you'd say, was at like a party, and it was like a cypher thing, and like people were like just started dissing each other and stuff. And then someone in like the cypher started dissing me, and I was like wasted at the time because like for some reason, like a lot of people I've heard, you like first time freestyling whatever is like drunken parties, and for some reason that just kind of like facilitates something in your brain that like helps you freestyle, I guess. I don't know if it's like confidence or just like looseness, but I always hear, like especially like on your show, I've heard it a bunch of times too, people like that's how they started. And it kind of goes into why like leagues like iBattle are as good as like they are as in terms of like event wise, because it's still that kind of like atmosphere, if you know what I mean.
Sure.
Yeah, it's like it's more casual, more loose, it's less like formal like stage type shit. So anyway, like yeah, I was wasted. People started dissing, and I started dissing my friend, and I had always like freestyled before, just like punchliney type stuff, but it was never like anything like great, you know. And particularly like this day, for some reason, shit was just like lining up in my head, and I remember like feeling, I was like, holy shit, like I don't know how I'm doing this, but I'm doing it, you know what I mean? And I remember I like rhymed like vintage purple suit and like dipped in Ninja Turtle ooze, and that was like the first time I ever came up with something where everyone was like, wow, like that was crazy. This was also like 2008, so back for that standards for then, that was like, you know, better than it would be now. But so that was like my first time I ever like stood out in like a cipher, you know what I mean? And my friend at the time, he was big into like the local scene and stuff. He was big on battle rap, and I think this is like probably around the time like Grind Time first came out, because I hadn't heard of Grind Time yet, but he was really into it, and I think he knew someone that battled in Grind Time New York. I can't remember the dude's name, but he was like, yo, like come to this battle event and like battle. And I was like, fuck, I don't know if like this is like a one-time thing. I don't know if I could keep doing this, you know? And I was like, well, as long as you like buy me some beer so I can like get drunk, maybe I could do it again. It was like, you know, so I ended up going to a Grind Time New York event in Battery Park, and this is probably like 2008 when I first moved to New York. And I had no idea like anything about the Grind Time scene. Like I didn't know it was written battles. I didn't know anything like that. So like I showed up, I was like, fuck it, I'll just, you know, I'll get a buzz and then I'll just freestyle badly and that'll be it. And that day, I remember I saw like Soulcon battled. He battled some Asian dude. I can't remember who it was. And but like what really like hit it for me was Philly Swain battled that day. And I remember it was like Philly Swain versus Scott Free. And that shit like blew my mind, because like Philly Swain was just like destroying this dude. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, I can't fucking do that. You know what I mean? Like I can like freestyle a couple punchlines, but I can't do what like this dude is doing. So that was like really like the first time I was like, fuck. And so my boy was trying to find someone to battle me there, and it was like all the battles were already set up like beforehand, and like I had no idea like the written era where you got to know your opponent. So I was like, fuck it, I'll just like he'll find me someone to freestyle against. And I actually almost ended up battling Cortez, which is fucking wild now, like looking back, because he was supposed to battle some dude. This might have even been his like first Grind Time battle. He was supposed to battle some dude who like didn't show up, and I was gonna step in and battle him, and I ended up getting like Chinese food down the street, so I fucking like missed my opportunity to battle Cortez for my first battle, and he ended up battling some dude who just like sucked. And like after all the battles were done, my boy like found some dude. It was just like I don't even think he was like a rapper. He didn't have like a rap name. His name was just like Christopher or something, and it was like this 6'4" like 8th grader. So fucking I was wasted. I had like a backpack full of like 2 12 packs of like Rolling Rock. So I just had like a backpack full of beer, like clanking and shit. And I remember I was battling this dude who like didn't want to do it. I think my friend bribed him with like dime bags and like intimidated him into like just letting me rap at him, pretty much. So fucking yeah, it was bad, man. This is like a horrible experience, to be honest. Fucking he was like this big ass like little kid, and I remember I called him like Hagrid. I was like, you look like you look like a faggot Hagrid who gets his ass kicked by his dad for practicing magic or something like that. And it was just like that was like the height of my abilities at the time. So like it was just bad. And then they were from New Jersey at the time, so like they went back to Jersey, and I had to like get myself home from fucking New York, and I didn't really know New York back then like how I do now. Like, so I didn't know what the fuck I was doing on the trains. I had a backpack full of fucking beer bottles. It was just bad. And after that, I was like, yeah, I don't want to do this shit at all. And so I eventually ended up moving back to Connecticut like within the year. And this is like around the time there was these DVDs called Connecticut Against the World, which were kind of like a smack type thing, and kind of like Too Raw for the Streets, but it was like more like little showcases of Connecticut rappers and like a little bit of battles mixed in. I don't know if that probably didn't reach as far as to you guys.
No, I've not heard of that before, to be honest.
Yeah, I've actually been looking for like a hard copy DVD. So like if anyone hears this and knows anyone that has a Connecticut Against the World DVD, I will gladly buy it, because it's like a little chunk of Connecticut history that's like been forgotten. Like I can't find them anywhere online or anything. But there was a lot of dudes on there that rapped. This dude Quan from Bridgeport, who ended up he got like signed by like Nas like later on or something. I remember watching like his freestyles and I was like, holy shit. And then this dude Ill, who like for older battle heads, like I remember like the source when he first came to iBattle to battle Ness, he was like, holy shit, it's Ill, you know? And I didn't know like Ill was that big at the time. I guess he battled like Iron Solomon and like Immortal Technique back in the day, and he was just like killing people. So he was on that DVD, and I had like mutual friends with him. So when I was moving back to Connecticut, I was like, you know what, fuck it, let's just like throw battle events for fun, like, you know, casual shit in parks. So me and this dude who had more of like an online presence, his name was Freshly Snipes. I know he was on like RM and shit like that back in the day. I was never big on like the online shit, which was like kind of probably like is the reason why I'm not as like, was never as promoted or anything online as much as I should have been. But he had like connections on there and stuff, and he knew a bunch of people and I knew a bunch of people. So we like came together and made this league. It's actually still online. You can find it. It's the Tag Team Rap League. It was a horrible idea, first of all, to have a whole 2-on-2. It was a 2-on-2 league of writtens, and fucking it just pretty much bombed. But it was fun while it lasted. It was like only a couple events long, and it's just like it's hard enough to get one-on-ones, you know what I mean, to go on, especially in like a less like nowadays battle rappers are a little more professional than they were back then. People just not show up. It still happens, but it wasn't like how it was back then. And so we had like a couple events in like parks and shit like that, and we got like Ill was one of the first dudes we got booked. He was like a big name, and that's like a lot of other dudes from iBattle came from, like White Cheddar from like the older days, James Joyce. There's still a Battle of Mine on there. It was supposed to be a 2-on-2, then it turned into a 2-on-1, and then it turned into a 1-on-1. It was just a shit show. So if anyone wants to laugh, you can look up like DEGO versus CVS. His name was CVS, the Abstract. Pretty shitty battle, but it's good for a laugh, you know. So this is around the time where like, so people probably don't know this, but before iBattle was iBattle, it was Connecticut Battle League. And are you familiar with Logic at all?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Yeah, like the dude who like the originator of iBattle.
Yeah.
So him and a couple other people, like he was in a group called Penalty Box, which I got like eventually got like enlisted to. He was coming out with a league at the same time, and they were throwing like a couple battles online and shit. And I think they went up to like upstate New York and had some battles. So I like reached out to them. And I was like, "Do you guys want to battle like on this platform or whatever?" And they were like, "Why don't you come battle on our platform?" And I was like, you know what? That's a fucking way better idea than like trying to set up these events and like deal with all this bullshit. Like dealing with rappers, for anyone that's a league owner, like God bless you. Like dealing with rappers is the worst fucking thing in the world. Like the most entitled people, like it's crazy. Like people like Lex, I don't know how the fuck they do it.
No, agreed.
Like,
Definitely.
it boggles my mind. But
crazy.
so I was like, I'd much rather just show up and rap than to like have to do all this bullshit. So that kind of ended that league. It was cool though, and like we had a decent amount of females in the presence, which in the battle rap world is a huge deal. So like that was a win for us. Like we had like 6 girls, you know what I mean? And that was like a world record at the time. So fucking I just hopped over to CBL, which is Connecticut Battle League, and that was my first tryout was versus James Joyce, and that's like my first like real league tryout battle, I guess you could say. And it was only 30-second rounds, but you know.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so the James Joyce battle is the oldest one that I was able to kind of find.
Yeah.
So like with yourself, the first battle that I ever saw personally was the 40 cal battle.
Oh, okay.
And I kind of had to go back through the archives after that and find more stuff of yours, to be honest. But
yeah, that was actually I think my last battle on iBattle before iBattle had its like initial shutdown before the restart.
Yeah, that would make sense. It was around that like 2015 kind of time, wasn't it?
Yeah, because I remember that's like also one of the only battles I had like in iBattle, at least like in New Haven. A lot of it was up towards like Hartford, which is more closer to Massachusetts. So like there's this big divide where like people think Connecticut, because it's so small, we're like all from like the same fucking neighborhood. But it's like Hartford is almost an hour away from New Haven. And so like Hartford is like Farrell, Jeff, Greedy Grimes. And then New Haven is like me, Bangs, Monster Leakness. So like that's kind of like the difference. We're closer to New York, they're closer to Mass.
Right, that makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
Connecticut is like it's the one state that, to be honest, I had absolutely no knowledge of before kind of starting the show. But the more
Yeah, I believe it.
research I've done, like, can all the cities in Connecticut are named after cities in the UK? Is that correct?
I kind of guess that because like New England in general, I think has that kind of vibe. I mean, it's New England, so like that would make sense. But I didn't know that like was explicitly a fact, but then it doesn't surprise me.
Sure, that makes sense. But I mean, since that point, I mean, you've been active battle wise now for, it's got to be coming on a decade. I mean, the James Joyce battle would have been about 2011. Is that right?
Yeah, that sounds about right. So yeah, like for like that, if you count that as like my first battle, you know what I mean? That I guess would be the other. There are a couple more on YouTube. I know the CVS one's on there because like me and my friends still have that channel. Like even though we don't do anything with it, it still exists. But like I don't really consider that like a league, you know?
Sure. Okay, that makes sense. But
Yeah.
like, out of the all the battles that you have been a part of now, like, what kind of stands out as your personal favorite so far?
Like personal favorite performance or personal favorite as in the time, like
If we
most
say,
enjoyable.
yeah, like the most enjoyable, like,
Oh,
all-round
yeah.
battle for you.
It would probably be either the Al 40 cal one or well, because that one's like I always want to battle like in New Haven because that meant more to me than like it's just like a local thing. Like you want to blow up locally first. Like of course everyone wants their name like worldwide, but like to get respect from like your local shit is sometimes harder. And it just like meant more to me. So to have battles in New Haven, so like I've only battled besides like the other ones, it was only like me and James Joyce, which is like across the street from one of my best friend's houses. So that was like, you know, that was like wasn't really like it was weird because it was a park and shit like that. So it didn't have like a feeling like a event. And then I battled Greedy Grimes in New Haven and the Al 40 cal one. I knew it was going to be the last event for iBattle, and I thought it was going to be the last event completely. Like there was no talks of a reselling or anything yet. It wasn't even ended yet. So I was like, damn, like this is the last iBattle event. Like, First Wild, which was like a big comedy club that was like kind of legendary. So it was just like all these things kind of like connected, and I was like, this is really like the vibe, you know.
Sure.
And then other than that, the East City battle, it was. Have you seen that one? It was Beast Mode New York, I believe, at the time.
Yes,
I
yeah, I've
cannot.
seen that.
Yeah. So like that was like 2:30 in the morning, 1:30 in the morning, something like that, and we battled like outside of the venue, like on the street in New York and Brooklyn, and that was just like another just vibe that I fucked with heavily. Cause like we were rapping, there was like cars going by, traffic. I remember some dude like pulled over and left his wife in the car and like watched the battle while his wife was just like sitting there. It was just a dope ass vibe. Like people were beeping at us. It was just dope, man. Like New York is the mecca, and like even though I'm so close, like Connecticut, it's still like it's got that feeling. So that was really dope for me. And plus, E City is like one of my favorite people I've met through battle rap. He is just the fucking dopest person, man. Like good dude. Shout out to him.
Yeah, yeah, I like East City a lot as well. Like, and he's always, even now he's always battling all over the place as well. Like
Oh yeah.
I've seen him on like random leagues that have kind of popped up and only done one event in like Vermont and
Yeah.
places like that. So
Oh
he's
yeah.
he's
Especially
put a
like
lot of work in.
New England, anywhere around Mass. I know he does put in a lot of work. He's got a good work ethic. Even like outside of battle rap, he's just like a good human being, you know.
Definitely, yeah, man, agreed. And like with yourself, so like your last kind of 3 to 4 battles, you've really started kind of making a big name for yourself. Like, I mean, a lot of people in the UK are aware of you, which uh, in the last year, iBattle's got quite popular in the UK thanks to people like Red Flag and Real C
Yeah.
over and stuff. But before that, I think iBattle was heavily slept on in the UK, but people were aware of who you were. Like,
Yeah, that always surprised me. Like boggled my mind. Like I've gotten like a lot of like you might even say better reception from the UK at times than here. which is wild because like it almost doesn't make sense, but like that's the power of the internet, I guess. And like I did a battle rap Reddit interview, and I think it probably definitely helped. Shout out to Tom. So that definitely shined some light on me. So like probably half the people at least who heard that like had no idea who the fuck I was. So, but yeah, that always surprised me, like my how like my material and stuff goes over in the UK, because I always kind of saw myself as more of like a regional rapper, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah,
my
sure.
style and like my type of references and stuff like that. But yeah, that's dope, man. Like shout out to the UK for real, because they've always shown me mad love.
Definitely. Yeah, man. But like getting, I suppose, matchups like Reverse Live and Real Deal and stuff like that. I mean, that's kind of helped along the way. Like, were you?
Oh, definitely.
Were you excited by those kind of matchups, like the bigger names?
Yeah, definitely. And like honestly, it had been a long time coming, especially like for how long I was doing this. And like I think the number one thing that really hurt my like career or whatever you want to call it is like early on, within like the first couple of years, I got ducked. Like, yeah, it was hard to ever get 2 battles in a row at least. So like I remember at one point I was 16 no shows and 16 battles, and that was like what broke my like no show to actual battle ratio. So like, and that's like I was like 15 or 16 like on the day of no call no shows, where I show up with 3 rounds and just no one ever showed up. Like, and some of these people like disappeared after that. I haven't even heard like Jimmy Jazz. Like I was supposed to battle Jimmy Jazz, and like he just like disappeared off the face of the earth the day I was supposed to battle him. So for a while it was hard to like build up a resume. It took me like 2 or 3 years to get 2 consecutive battles, like, which was nuts. And like the 15, 16 is like on the day of, and then besides that, just like cancellations like week before or whatever, like there's probably like 20 of those too. So I should have like double the amount of battles I have. And I know that definitely hurt. And it's hard when like you're starting out to get a bigger name to battle you, especially when you don't have like that much footage. So like Logic would just like be fucking like racking his brain trying to figure a way to make it work. And like it was never his fault. Just like people weren't about their shit, or I don't know. But yeah, that definitely hurts. So it's like now I've had shows, which to me was like never happened. So that definitely helped get the ball rolling. And then like Real Deal, Reverse Live, that's definitely like my 2 that probably helped my name the most by far.
Definitely, yeah, man. And they're both incredible battles as well. To be fair, I think I would lean towards you and Real Deal being probably my favourite battle of yours, if I'm honest. But
Thank
I
you.
mean,
Yeah.
I really love the homeschool one as well. Like, I'm
Yeah.
a huge fan of both of you, and like, I feel a bit sorry for homeschool in a way, because every battle he seems to do on iBattle, his material is always good enough to win, but he kind of comes up against these freak of nature performances. It's crazy, but like, I mean, how have you
Yeah, and he
found?
kind of got thrown to the wolves like right out the gate. It's like,
Oh, definitely. Yeah, he's
what
had
was
some.
that?
Sorry, can you hear me, man?
Yeah, I can hear you
Ah,
now.
there we go. Sorry, it was breaking up a bit there, but yeah, he's had some amazing matchups, to be fair to him. But like, how have you found kind of the transition with iBattle since Lexus took over?
I mean, definitely like it's grown exponentially, and like just having an app is fucking wild. Um, it's different in the way like it was even like I was saying before, like how I felt like a regional rapper. Um, iBattle was essentially Connecticut Battle League still. It was just a name change and like a management change. So the like primary roster was all Connecticut. So now that it's moved to New York, we've gotten like this merger where like not just like the leagues merge, but like a cultural type of merge too. So like you kind of get a better array of styles, because especially you have other people coming in too, like Mulip. He's not even from Connecticut or New York, but he's an iBattle roster member. So like we just have this wild array of it's not even like battlers, like characters and personalities. Like it's more than just like rap style. It's like who the people are behind the mask. And it's like, it's just like the stars pretty much aligned for this, because I don't think this could have happened any other way in any other where, you know. It just so happened that this happened, and fucking you have like a roster with people, like such a wide array of people, like from Mulips to fucking like Kids Aid, like in everything in between. It's really like fucking insane when you think about it, especially coming from where it came from before, like rapping in New Haven and parks and shit. It blows my mind.
I can
You
imagine.
hear me?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, it does keep breaking up on your end every now and again, but it's coming through fine, so it should be okay. But I mean, for me personally, iBattle is the league that I probably follow the most at the moment, just because it reminds me of like when I first got into battle rap and how the UK scene was back then. It's more kind of like it's more like a party with battles happening as opposed to a battle event, if that makes sense. And it's
exactly.
There's such a wide range of like different styles. It facilitates
a good environment. Absolutely. Yeah, it just like gives you the right environment and like vibe to produce good battles, and like everyone's having a good time.
Definitely.
A lot of shit in a small room, and it's really hard to vibe. And like even though that the vibe is casual, you still get these bad vibes. That it's like the perfect combination. It really is crazy.
Definitely. Yeah, man, agreed. And it's like with yourself, so Real Deal was the last battle you did then, is that correct?
Yeah.
So that would have been roughly about a year ago now. Like, have you got any kind of desire to jump back in anytime soon? I know the pandemic at the moment doesn't help at all.
Yeah. I definitely do, and at the same time I don't, just because of like so like I just finished school and just melted from having to do all this shit and then switching to like digital learning and all that shit. So like I'm just like mind broken at this point. But I do like want to hop back in the ring. I just need like I need like a vacation, to be honest. But fucking I definitely plan to hop back in, you know.
That makes sense. No, that's fair enough, man. But who would you want? Like, who's left for you personally? Like, people that you really want to battle?
Yeah, it's a hard question. Like, I don't really know what people want to see. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Or picky, like, or diva-ish about who I battle. Because like, you can tell, like, I went from homeschool who had like 4 battles online, you know, so it's like that's good material, you know what I mean? I'll battle them. I'm not super picky. I would like to battle people style oriented, like original styles and original approaches, because I feel like my approach to battle rap is kind of does well like with that is in terms of like a full product for both people. Like I'm not a super battle rapper, if that makes sense. Like I don't overly reference like in battle rap culture. I'm more like I like to like reference, like that's kind of like my bread and butter. It's always been like obscure references and stuff like that. So like probably someone that is on the same like page as that.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I mean, I've always kind of, I don't know if this is true, but I've always kind of got the feeling that you might not watch too much battle rap. Is that correct?
I mean, back in the day I did. Like when I came home from New York originally and I found out like Grind Time was this big thing and like an openly written league, me and my friends like binged the entirety of Grind Time. Like, so there was a point in time where I was watching a shit ton of battles. But as time goes on, I follow like battlers I enjoy that I know I'm gonna watch and like enjoy, or like iBattle in general. Like, cause I've never been like discontent or like unimpressed with an iBattle event, you know. So like that's pretty much everything I need, unless it's someone I know specifically. I watch for. So like if something of theirs drops and I see it, like I'll automatically click it. But I'm not like super current in battle rap, and I feel like that kind of helps me as like a writer too, because you can kind of hear these people sometimes where like you can tell they've just been watching like 48 hours straight of battle rap and they wrote their 3 rounds. They sound like battle rap rounds. They're like, even if the, if that makes sense, experience in your own life are good, like, because they're not just sitting there in their room like watching 1,000 battles. They're like living a life and then taking shit from their life and putting it into the battles. If that makes sense.
Yeah, of course. And I think it kind of helps with, like we said, like you being so kind of liked in the UK. Your material's a lot more accessible in the sense that there's no kind of battle rap in jokes or references that we're not going to understand over here, which was kind of why I got the feeling that you weren't like watching, you know, like with myself, I'd probably watch like 1 or 2 battles a day at least, whereas you can kind of tell that you don't, if that makes sense. But yeah, like it's.
When was your like when did you first see battle rap?
For me, it was 2000 and I want to say 2009.
So that's early. That's pretty early in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, it was kind of around the time that Don't Flop very first began.
So you watched like primarily like UK battle rap and then got into American battle rap?
Yeah. It probably took me about 2 years before I even kind of discovered Grind Time and King of the Dot and leagues like that, to be honest. It was
so yeah, that does make sense though, because it's like America here, we have so much of it, especially in the last like maybe 5 years. There's so many leagues and so many battlers, it's almost impossible to like so it's like we'll come into it a little earlier when I feel like that's like a million battles scene. So they're just like binging constantly, and you get these like amalgamations of styles. Definitely. And even certain people like Thesaurus, you know what I mean? He spawned like a million like people who use that style. So it's like they just binge Thesaurus battles and then they like try to emulate, you know what I mean, this person's original style. Or even like Chilla Jones, when he started doing like the associative wordplay, how many battle rappers were doing like only that for like a year or two? It's like, it's crazy.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and it's something I've always liked about the UK scene in the sense of like everybody that's made it big in that sense has always been quite original. And if you're deemed to have kind of taken somebody else's style, then you generally just don't get any more battles, if that makes sense. But
no, definitely. And yeah, I definitely can see what you said about like how like certain concepts and stuff that I use are like universally like digestible, you know what I mean? Like in the UK and here, which I think honestly when I first started rapping, like I've always had this like obscure reference punchline type thing. And I feel like that hurt me in the beginning because I wasn't really doing what the normal thing in battle rap was. And like through some strange turn of events, like the battle, like current modern battle rap where people want to hear like punches, like original punches kind of like evolved into what I had been doing already, which like definitely helps me out. But I feel like early on, it wasn't really what people were looking for. So it just kind of like with times change, I think it does have a lot to do with like the accessibility. And even if you watch iBattle, there is a lot of like in-house referencing. But if you watch iBattle, you can kind of still get it. It's not like you have to have been there for certain things. Certain things, even like Water League and Sky League, everyone wants to know what the fuck it is, but like, you know what I mean? They're dying to know. But even if they don't know, they're still going along with it. So it's like even these things that are like in-house, you know enough that it carries on and like people will still follow it, which I find really cool because iBattle's like #1 selling point is the culture behind the league.
Definitely. Yeah. And if I'm honest, so I'm still not 100% sure that even I know what Water and Sky League is, but like from from what I've always gathered, Water League is the drinkers and Sky League is the smokers. But whether that's right or wrong, it doesn't matter. You can still kind of follow the narrative. So it's I love everything that iBattle are doing at the moment. I think they're kind of like revolutionizing battle rap in that sense. So
yeah, and in like a cultural way too, which is like, because battle rap in general is such a culture. Like that's the heaviest part of it. And to have like its own subculture, the culture that is iBattle, like iBattle cult, like there's so many things that are just like synonymous with the iBattle brand at this point. It's just like, it honestly is like humbling that it's gotten to this point. And like, of course I'm biased because like I'm from iBattle before it was even iBattle. So I'm always going to say iBattle is the best league in the world. But to hear like people, even if you don't think it's the best league in the world, just to hear you say like you're following iBattle, like that means like so much, you know?
I can imagine. Yeah. And it's, especially having been there since its kind of original inception as well. Like it has become huge in comparison to, you know, what it was back then, I guess. But like,
yeah, I remember like when Lex told me he was like reviving it, I was just like, holy shit. Like I thought it was done. And then this happened and it's like the ball's just been rolling. It's wild, man. It really is.
Definitely. Yeah, man. It's been fun to watch. And like the one thing that I'm really kind of pushing for at the moment that I think the UK needs is an iBattle versus UK event.
Oh, absolutely.
Like we said, Red Flag and Real Sick have been over here and been the top two international performances that we've had for a long, long time.
And the styles are so compatible.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like an ocean away, and still like they just match up so well.
Definitely. And I know Briggsy and Shotty from Premier Battles and Lex have kind of spoke about the idea. If it was to happen, is there anyone in the UK that interests you personally?
Yeah. Again, like it'd probably be like someone who people want. Then works for a little while for me and Unanimous. So I think that's definitely one people want to see. And it makes sense to me because we're both like referential and like use like odd elements of, you know, like other forms of like fiction, sci-fi, all that kind of bullshit. It makes sense. People have also said Soul over the years. Soul is like one of my favorites. They're like, he probably might be my favorite over there. So that would be wild. I'm not really sure who else, but like I would definitely be open to like people's suggestions, you know?
That makes sense. And I think a lot of people have kind of, so he's a relative newcomer over here. He's a guy called Major Concerns. He recently kind of had his first big look against Chiller Jones. And a lot of people have compared him to yourself. I think
really, I'll definitely check him out.
Yeah, he's a very good writer, to be fair, and he's I think you and him would also be a good shout. But Yunnan and Soul as well, like that would be, especially in the UK, if it was to happen over here, that would be a huge look for you.
Yeah, this is like super like far fetched, probably, or maybe not. I don't know. But like me and Jack Tripper versus Soul and Unanimous. Are you familiar with Jack Tripper at all?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, big fan of him as well. But yeah, I like it. I don't know if Soul and Yunnan would team. I don't know if Soul would do another 2-on-2. He
I understand.
He did one last year with Quill against Shufflety and Marlowe. It was kind of a concept event. The event was for a mental health charity and stuff. So there was a different kind of concept behind each battle, which was, I think, the main reason he got involved. But apart from that,
it's less of a battle, more of like a showcase. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there was a guy that was quite heavily involved in like battle rap in the UK over here. He was a journalist called Pete Cashmore, who unfortunately passed away about a year ago, and they held the event kind of in his honor and gave the proceeds to a mental health charity and stuff.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, RIP to him. And that's amazing when the culture can come together and do something like that, you know?
Definitely. Yeah. And I think, as far as I know, that was kind of a one-off for Soul in terms of 2-on-2s. I don't think he's not
Yeah.
actually battled in a while either. I think his last battle was about a year ago now.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Against Mad Flex, and I don't think there's been kind of any rumour of him coming back anytime soon. But yeah, I mean, just
just in
iBattle
general, to
versus
get Jack
UK
Tripper
as a
out there
whole.
too.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, I'm a big fan of him. And again, he's not battled for a while now, right?
No, me and Jack have been like lined up like maybe 3 or 4 times, like in the last, like, I don't know how many years. It will definitely happen at some point, you know what I mean? And I'm kind of glad it didn't happen yet, maybe, because I feel like it has potential to be even better, like further down the line. A lot of battles happen, and you're like, wow, I wish that happened further down the line. So I'm glad it's not one of those. But like he's definitely like one of the people I have to battle before I ever call it quits, you know?
Definitely. I mean, you two are kind of for me personally, I consider like you two and Tape Deck as like the original iBattle guys, if that makes sense. So definitely be
Yeah.
good to see that happen.
People who are still active. Generation, like I'm probably Gen Taper 4. It's definitely the only one from my generation. This generation still doing it. And then Jack and Bangs. And then the people like E. Farrell, Jeffrey, they're not, I don't know if they're like, I don't think they're like retired. They're just like not battling, you know?
Yeah.
But and then same thing with like Monster Leakness and Jack Casserole too were around before the iBattle like revival.
Yeah, sure. Like you said, just all the kind of Connecticut heads.
Yeah,
Then
exactly.
they're all still important figures in iBattle as well.
Oh,
Like Jack
definitely.
Casserole smashing it all the time, and
He's like still one of my favorites, man. He might honestly have some of the most definitive wins in iBattle, like clear wins, like clear victories, even 3-0s. Like he has some of the most.
agreed. Yeah, I do agree, and he's one of my favorites as well. Like I think he was the 4th person that I ever had on the show.
Oh no, yeah, I saw that.
And he's I'm a big fan of his as well. I'd love to see. I think he's another one that would just go down really well in the UK as well.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, I fuck with Jack. Even like outside of battle rap, he's a cool ass person too. Like I ride a lot. He's from Hartford, so to get from Hartford to New York, you have to go through New Haven, kind of, pretty much. So like a lot of times we ride out with him and shit. So it's like the only person really from New Haven now is like me and Leak that still battle. So
That
and then
makes
like
sense.
we got a couple people. Yeah, I got a couple people from Hartford. So like a lot of times we'll like just carpool out there and shit. Got our little CT squad still going.
Nice man. But
A lot of it's because a lot of people moved away. Like Farrell and Jeff, they both don't live in Connecticut. So like maybe, if they were closer, they would battle more, but who knows?
yeah, sure. And
Everyone definitely played a part in like the cultural aspect of iBattle.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. I agree.
Just like get him a soda, kind of like fucking hit the battle world like a fucking like meteor and rippled throughout the world. I've heard like, I'm pretty sure there's been like UK battles where they've referenced Get 'em a Soda.
There has. Yeah, there definitely has.
Yeah. That's so wild to me. It's like, and like how you were saying you didn't really know anything about Connecticut beforehand. That happens a lot. Even like here, people like overlook Connecticut, and a lot of people think it's either like just like so small, there's nothing really going on, or like we have Yale here, which makes us look like, I think we also have like I forgot what town it is, like Fairfield up near there is like one of like the richest towns, and then we also have like some of the poorest towns. So we have like this weird mix of shit. And like culturally though, Connecticut has such like a wild culture, and it's cool that like it's reflected in the battle rap world now, which is just like beyond imagination. Like, to see this coming from Connecticut, where no one even knows what the fuck we do here, it's like nuts that we've had an influence in battle rap in general.
I can imagine. Yeah, man. And it's like, do you still have any events in Connecticut then?
I think We Go Hard was throwing a couple events once in a while here.
Okay.
Other than that, not that I know of. Maybe like really small shit. I actually like, if anyone's out there listening to this and throws events like around Connecticut, I'll come out. Like, there's just like nothing I know of. I would love that if there was like local shit I didn't have to travel like multiple hours to get to, you know?
Sure, that makes sense. But yeah, and I mean, you kind of, most of the battles that I've seen of yours have been on iBattle, but you've been on a few leagues. Like, I know you've done a Ground Zero,
Yep.
Beast Mode, like we said, and then 413 as well. Like, is there any other leagues that you'd like to go to? Like, just leagues that interest you?
I mean, I definitely want to get out to UK, or even like Rap is a Joke, or wait, Rap is Full, right? That's the name of it?
That's it, yeah.
Ireland is Rap is Full, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I fuck with these they're doing. I know like flagging out there. That was crazy. First over here, Smitty is my boy, and I definitely owe him a battle out there. So whenever that time comes, I'm trying to think where else. I'm not sure. I've also had like a couple battles I tried to have out of state. Those are some of the ones that like I got no showed.
Right. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately,
like that may happen again.
Like, no shows kind of, like, it's happening a lot in the UK as of late as well. Like, it's something that we've not been too badly affected by in the past.
Yeah.
It is. It seems to be cropping up more and more again, which is unfortunate. But like,
yeah, it's crazy. Like, I've literally thrown away like thousands of bars over like the last like decade of shit. Where that's kind of like mold my style too, because in the earlier days, after getting dunked so many times, I was like, so I think so had like an impact on my style and like my content. But getting dunked is the worst fucking thing, especially the day of, like, I don't even care if you call me like the day before.
can you still hear me, man?
You don't know if I'm like traveling out there, you know what I mean, taking time out of like my weekend, hopping trains to get to where I'm going, and then you just don't call and don't show. Like, if this was like a bigger concert. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, there we go. There's like, it's proper lagging on your end, so I can't make out anything that you're saying at all.
Oh. What's the last thing you heard?
I pretty much didn't hear any of that, to be fair. It kind of like dragged out for about a minute or so.
Oh, we were talking about like no shows, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I was saying like early on, like I got no showed so many times, it kind of made me tailor my like material to more generic stuff, like not super directed towards a specific opponent, and like no personals, because if they don't show up the day of, I can just save the material or like rap it against someone else that also got no showed. So I feel like that kind of molded my style along the way, just because of it happening so many times and not wanting to like throw away 1,000 fucking bars, you know?
Can see that, definitely. And it's like, I mean, iBattle's got such a good structure to it now that no shows, especially at the level that you're at in terms of the battles that you get on iBattle, like they're unlikely to happen nowadays, right? So, I mean,
Oh, absolutely.
makes things a lot easier for yourself, I suppose. But
yeah, I don't need to worry about that anymore. Like, I haven't even worried about that anymore. Back in the day, like, that was like something I had to consider, like, when prepping my battles. Like, is this person not going to show up? Is it going to end up being me versus someone else? Like, you know what I mean? I didn't want to have like personal material for someone and then have to say it versus someone else, because that's just like weird. And fucking like, I also think like if this was a job and you no showed, you'd get fired. So like, there needs to be more consequences, especially if you're getting paid to battle and you no show or like run on a deposit. Like, that's fucking like, no, you can't do that.
no, I completely agree. There needs to, people need to put their foot down with it more. I don't know how
Yeah.
aware you are, like with when Red Flag came to the UK to battle Rat
Yeah.
on Premier Battles, that was like a replacement, because essentially the original card had 6 battles on, and 5 of the battlers were all kind of URL battlers.
Yeah, I did hear about that. That's like kind of why I was like mentioning this too, because I know it's been a problem there, and like that's like not all right.
No, absolutely. And like I had Briggsy on the podcast who runs Premier Battles, and he was saying that like over the course of their kind of first half of their deposits and their flights and accommodation, plus the amount of sponsors that they had pull out on them and stuff, they lost about 10 grand on that event, which is
shit.
Like it's kind of down to 5 people that the UK scene isn't thriving like it should be. It's mad.
That's like fucking insane. Somebody needs like their kneecap smashed or something. Like, that's like, you can't do that.
Agreed.
Oh, it's the battle world. The battle world. It's like, nah, this is like still real life at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like, people get hurt for doing that. People get sued for doing that kind of shit. It's like, it's not cool.
Definitely. No, man, it's a shame, but like it's not just kind of the impact that it had on that event either. The event they did 6 months later, which was where Real Seat came over. They were supposed to do Thesaurus and Ilmac versus Shuffle T and Marlowe, which is kind of the UK battle that everybody's wanted for years and years, but due to the backlash, they just couldn't afford to make it happen. So
that sucks.
These people just don't seem to understand the effect that it has. I mean, especially JC, like the amount of times that JC has no-showed battles now is fucking mental. Like, we need to just, these people need to be
I didn't even know he was one of those. Yeah, for real.
Yeah,
that's wild, man.
Yeah, he no-showed.
Someone just like, if you see JC out there, if you see JC out there, somebody like run his pockets and send that bread to whoever it belongs to.
Yeah, completely agreed. I think Sean O'Shawn said he wanted to start doing something like that, where if battlers no-showed, you just find somebody local and pay them enough money to go and get the money back. But yeah,
Sean O'Shawn's putting hits out. Okay.
Yeah.
I fuck with that.
Me too. I like it.
Shout out to Sean O'Shawn too. That's the boy.
Oh, definitely, man. Yeah. Got on with him well, to be fair. But like,
yeah, and I definitely agree. You know.
Yeah, it needs to happen, or they just need to stop getting booked. Full stop. Like I know there's rivalry between leagues, but leagues just need to come together and kind of find an objection to it, in my opinion. But
it's common sense. It's like, if you rob your job, you're going to jail. If you rob like your drug dealer, you're going to fucking hell or heaven, probably not, but hell. And fucking at the end of the day, there's got to be consequences. Even if it's like as simple as don't ever book this person again, which I think is like very lenient for actually taking money out of people's pockets. But like, yeah, no, there's got to be something.
Agreed. Yeah, man. But like, with yourself, is there, out of the battles that have come out anyway, like, do you have a least favourite battle of yours? Is there one that you wouldn't tend to watch back?
See, I'm the kind of person, I don't like watching my own battles a lot. Like, there's probably a couple battles of mine that I've like only watched like maybe bits and pieces of. Just because, like, I don't know, it's like some people, you hear your voice. People don't like hearing their own voice, like, recorded or whatever. They think they sound different. It's definitely like that. Definitely like the Lex battle. That's probably that's the only time I've ever felt like I lost a battle. So that'd probably be. And I also just did.
See, I quite like the Lex battle, if I'm honest.
People have told me that.
Yeah, I seem to remember it being from kind of the earlier days of iBattle anyway. I seem to remember it being one of my favorites from that time. So,
oh, nice. I just know I fucked up a bar into my first round, and in my head everything after that was just garbage. You know what I mean? But
right.
Also I remember that being the battle where I was probably getting to be the most battle rappy, if that makes sense. Where it's everybody at the time, there was a lot of shit going on with another league, and he wore a shirt or so. I don't fucking even know, to be honest. But I just had people telling me stuff they wanted to hear, and that's the kind of the approach that I took. And it was more like what the fans at the time wanted from me, and it just wasn't my style of shit. So I thought I shit the bed personally, and after that, I was you know what? I don't really care about narratives that much, at all. And Lex was a cool person. I've always fucked with Lex, and I feel that battle makes me feel kind of an asshole towards him in a way, if that makes sense. And that's really not my style to go personal and shit like that. So since then, I've just been I'm just gonna rap shit that I want to hear, and it's worked way better for me, since then. But I think everyone needs to take there's people you can take multiple L's, but you take the L, you know what I mean? And that L is what you reassess what you're doing. So I'm glad that I got that early on. And I'm glad I lost to him. If I had lost to fucking Billy Backpacks or fucking, you know what I mean, someone that sucked, it would be way worse.
Yeah.
But Lex also doesn't fucking ever lose. And I feel if that's my only loss, and my only loss is the guy who also doesn't lose, it doesn't really make me look that bad. It's just I'm not gonna watch that battle. But yeah.
That makes sense. No, personally, I really like that battle on both sides. So,
Thank you. Yeah.
I mean, kind of a testament to yourself, I guess, that even the battle that you dislike the most is still, at least in my opinion, really strong. So, but
shit, yeah, I'll take it.
Is there any battles left that you really want to see? Not including yourself as such, but one question I've been asking people is, if you were promoting an event and you had kind of unlimited funds to put the event together, what matchups have you always wanted to see, and what would you put on the card personally?
Oh shit. One I want to and these aren't even I'm going super expensive wise, but just shit I want to see. For anyone who remembers the old iBattle days, Q the General and Real Sick would be fucking fire. Who else? I should think of any. In terms of shit that's absolutely serious, I would like to see Monster Leakness, Lex Luthor versus Joey Diaz. Can you hear? Hello?
Hi, man. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I cut out again?
Yeah, it cuts out every now and again on your end. I think I heard Q the General versus Real Sick.
Yeah, I think that's one that I would definitely fuck with.
Yeah, I like that, actually.
I can't really think of any more, I know I've said over the years, but I can't think of any. But if like money was no option and I can like force these people to battles that aren't even like battle rap battles I want to see like Lex Luthor for like versus like Joey Diaz. Do you know who Joey Diaz is?
Yes, yeah, I'm aware
The
of
podcast
him.
too?
Like, I don't know a huge amount, but yeah, I know who he is.
He's in like a bunch of movies and like he's like does podcast now. His podcast for someone like I'm aiming high right now. Lex Luthor for someone like that. Monster Leakness versus like Elon Musk. Fucking Jack Tripper versus fucking Stephen King.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Big,
Joey
right?
Diaz is on. He's on like, what's his name? Joe Rogan's podcast a lot, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know who you mean
Shit,
now.
throw Dunch versus Norm Macdonald on there.
Okay. Yeah. Love it.
Fuck, I can't think anymore. But yeah, like I don't know if you're gonna think big about, because like in the recent years, like battle culture really has kind of spilled into pop culture and like mainstream shit. Even like I know like the James Corden drop the mic, like that was all battle rappers on their writing for so like some of like ones you wouldn't see, like Mark McGrath was like a fucking fan of battle rap, like a fan of battle rap. And that's the dude from fucking like Sugar Ray or whatever. It's like battle rap has such a potential to break into the mainstream. I feel like it's always just been on like the cusp and it never just like cracked through, but it definitely has the potential.
Definitely. Yeah, agreed. I know Carter Deems did a lot of work for that James Corden show as well, and like been obviously Bodied. I don't know how big Bodied was as a movie, but there was a UK like battle rap related movie too called Versus, which
I heard about that.
Shotty Horror is one of the main roles in it, and then I think Shuffle T, Gemini, and a few others were kind of involved in writing all the material and stuff. So it's, we're getting there slowly. Like
every step, every step it just brings more eyes, more people watching. That's like really all you can hope for.
Agreed. Yeah, man. But apart from that, I mean, that's kind of the battle rap related questions done with. I've been asking a couple of music related questions and then finishing the show with 3 very random questions at the end. But like, if you had to pick your top 3 albums of all time of any genre, like what comes to your head?
Shit. As far as rap, Capital Punishment, Big Pun. Feast or Famine, Reef the Lost Cause. I feel like he's one of like the more underrated rappers of all time, really. Reef the Lost Cause is fire.
Yeah.
Like, and he has Oh, nice. Yeah, a lot of people don't even know who the fuck he is. That's dope that you know who he is. Dope rapper. I fuck with Kevin Gates heavy. Luca Brasi 2, I think it is. That's a fire album. And then like either Monkey Bars or Jesus Christ, Sean Price. I've always been like into rap. I was also into like mad other genres, and like my like besides rap, my top genres like metal and hardcore, and that's kind of where actually my music shit started. I was always in like hardcore and metal bands, and I would go to like hardcore metal shows and shit like that. So for anyone who's like into that type of shit, I'm gonna say Circle Takes the Square, Interview at the Ruins, fire CD. It's more like grindcore, which like 99% of the population will probably be like, what the fuck is this? Fire. Folly, Insanity Later, fire. Shit, I can't think of anything else. But yeah, that was kind of actually my like my early beginnings of ever writing was before I wrote bars, was like writing lyrics for like hardcore songs and shit like that.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, it's like for me personally, I'm into all sorts of music, and like I really like metal music and stuff. I just don't listen to it at home. Like I love going to metal gigs and shows and whatever.
Oh hell yeah!
I think they're probably my favorite shows to go to. But
the reason I gravitated heavily towards like battle rap and as far as like a like like performance art is because it's the closest vibe to like a hardcore show and like a mosh pit is a battle rap pit. And it sounds weird because it's so foreign to each other. But like the feeling you get in the pit when you like land a punchline and people go crazy, especially like nowadays, because like you spit a punchline, people are like punching you in the head and ripping your fucking shirt off. It's very like in the same vein as like mosh pits, I feel.
I've never kind of found that comparison in my head, but I 100% agree. Yeah, I agree with you with that. It's very similar. Yeah, I like that.
And that's like the cloth I'm cut from is like from that shit. Like I've been to a million rap shows and I've been to like, and I always like thought like, even like the best rap show, I always thought there was like one element missing, and I feel like it's that, and you really do get that at battle rap.
Sure. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. I like that, man. And then, like, out of the shows that you've been to down the years, who stands out as like the best kind of live act that you've ever seen?
For like any genre?
Yeah.
So I went to every Ozfest between like 2003 and whenever it ended. And I got to see Black Sabbath. So that's like probably I don't think anything can really trump that. So that's probably going to be my number one. Honestly, getting to see like PH, rest in peace, a big chunk of like rap history just between those two guys. That it's very like, just wild. And like back in the day, I used to go to like Project Revolution, which was like Snoop Dogg and M.O.P. with like Linkin Park and Korn and Slipknot and all that shit. Those were dope. I've been to a lot of metal fests, and then like tons and tons of just local band concerts for like metal and hardcore. And like I was in a couple bands here and there, and I played shows, and that was really like a lot of like local bands. Some of the best shows I went to like was local bands. Like I mentioned that Folly CD. Maybe my favorite show, like not because like the Black Sabbath can't trump Black Sabbath. Like in terms of a show, it was wild, like insane.
That makes sense. No, that's a good list, man. And like, is there any lesser known musicians that you're a big fan of right now that myself or the listeners might not be aware of?
Definitely the ones I mentioned. If you're into that genre, you might have heard of them. Like Folly, Circle Takes the Square. If you want to listen to some good like old CT type like hardcore shit, At All Costs or Bateman. As far as like rap and stuff, I feel like the stuff I listen to now is mostly like decently known. I'm trying to think if there's anyone that I listen to who like wouldn't be known. I know like Eddie's been brought up probably every single time, but Eddie, you know,
he does get brought up a lot. Yeah, and I do
there's
agree.
No way.
He's amazing.
Like, you gotta already know. Like if you're watching this in the first place, you probably know.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Eddie. To be fair, he's
definitely
killing it at the moment. But in terms of the final three questions, they are very random. But do you have a favorite sports team?
Not really. I was always like local sports, so like Connecticut, New Haven Ravens, New Haven Beasts, New Haven Knights, which all three do not exist anymore. But
okay, sure.
I was always big into like boxing, so like Mike Tyson, Joe Frazier, fucking Sugar Shane.
Nice. Looks like from what I've read in the last few days, it looks like Tyson's coming back to fight fight Fury as well, which is a bit random, but I'll be interested.
He's just itching. Like I've watched some interviews with him. You can tell like he hasn't faced for so long. Him, and like he just needs to do it.
I think personally that Yeah, sorry, man. It came through a bit slowly there, but I did hear what
It's
you
all good.
said. Yeah, I think he smokes way too much weed now to be able to kind of to be able to step back into the ring, in my opinion, especially at his age. But
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
stepping up against someone like Fury, who personally I can't stand Fury as a boxer. I can't stand the way he fights. I find him
Yeah.
boring to watch, but he is absolutely
I
incredible at
definitely
what he
understand.
does.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, be very interesting to see. But like, if you could pick anywhere in the world for your next holiday or your next trip abroad, where would you go?
Uh, yep.
Yo, man, can you hear me?
Yeah. Sorry about that.
No, no worries, man. Yeah, sorry, you said I heard you say you went to Italy last year, and you were looking
Yeah.
to go back. I think I heard you mention Milan and Florence, but that was about it.
Yeah. So literally, like the day I battled Real Deal, I took like my last final in the morning, left Connecticut, battled Real Deal, went back home, packed my shit, went back to New York, and then flew from New York to Milan like the next day. And I was only there for 2 weeks, so I couldn't really like. You can't. I wish I could have went to. My family's from like Amalfi, like the coastline and shit, and I didn't get to see it. So like, I would love to go back to Italy. I fucked with Florence heavy. Just the food, the culture, um, and like I would love to see like where part of my family's from in Amalfi if I could get the chance. But as far as America, I have to say New Orleans is probably my favorite place. Like I've been there a couple times. I would always go back to New Orleans.
Yeah, New Orleans comes up a lot actually, and it's for me personally, I'm quite well traveled, but I've never been to America, so like,
That's definitely a good place to start.
yeah,
That's a good place to start and finish. To be honest, I fucking love it there. Just the atmosphere, the food, the culture. It's all just so fucking good, and you can only get it there.
I've heard. Yeah, most people I know that have been to America have either like they've been to New York or they've been to like
Yeah,
some like beach resort in Florida or they've been to
yeah,
Los Angeles kind of thing. But for me, like I think New Orleans is probably top of my list of where I'd like to go.
definitely.
Um,
Yeah, like if you want to have a good time, you can go to New York. You can go to Florida. If you want to have a fucking crazy time that you'll never forget, go to New Orleans.
yeah,
If you end up going, like let me know. I have a list of like hundreds of things in New Orleans that are just like top tier shit you have to do while you're there.
nice. Yeah, I'll definitely hit you up, man. I'm hoping to
Absolutely.
come over like the end of the year, maybe next year, depending on what happens with the whole pandemic. But yeah,
Yeah.
New Orleans is top of my list, to be fair. And I mean, Italy, like having family from the Amalfi Coast as well, that's amazing. Like it's such a beautiful
Yeah.
place. So that definitely
Yeah.
be
I'd always just like I want to go there just to see like where like half of my roots are from there, you know what I mean? So I want to go there just to see like what it's about and all that shit.
sure. That makes sense, man.
Yeah.
Good answers.
Yeah.
But the final question, and this one has brought up a range of good and terrible answers, but you can pick one sweet and one savory, but what are the go-to snacks in your opinion?
Okay, okay. Well, if you're gonna go to New Orleans, this is probably my number one anyway. But and like when the time comes, let me know. I'll give you like better like directions. It's this little ass spot. So like New Orleans, there's like a bridge that goes into what's called Gretna. So you go over this bridge into Gretna, and on the left hand side, there's like I know this is like super specific. It's this fucking baseball field and like train tracks on the left hand side, and there's this little shack called Danny and Bonnie's. And do you know what like pork rinds are? Like crackling.
No, I don't think I do.
So like pork rind crackling is like fried like pig fat, and it's like you can get them in bags, like they're like chips almost.
Oh
But the
yeah, yeah,
ones there
okay,
are like
like pork
fresh. It's
scratchings we call them.
almost like like eat your own, which is just like the whole fried. Yeah, and this place just makes the fucking best, and it's like they give them to you in a little brown paper bag. It's like unbelievable. Danny and Bonnie's, man. Like I need to fucking get like a sponsorship from them now, just for shouting them out. Probably my favorite thing in the world.
Nice. Okay, cool. And what about a sweet snack?
Um, sweet. There's this Italian pastry. It's hard as fuck to find, even here. And like where like there's a shit ton of Italian people, but it's called like a Moon Mountain Torte. I've only found like 2 places that have it. It's like a chocolate cake disc with hazelnut, chocolate, and rum mousse like piped onto it, and then it's covered in like chocolate and rolled in walnuts. That's probably like my favorite fucking thing in the world.
I'm pretty sure I've had one of those in Venice.
They're probably, I was gonna say, they're probably more common over there than they are here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they're good. To be fair, they're two good choices. But yeah, I like that, man. But apart from that, like that's pretty much all the questions done. But is there anything that you wanted to promote or plug on the show at all?
Just iBattleTV.tv. Download the iBattle app. My last battle, DEGO Diavolo versus Real Deal. If you haven't seen that, see it. If you saw it already, see it again. That's pretty much it.
Nice. I like it, man. But I'll include a couple of links and stuff in the description to the video once it's up. It'll probably be up in a couple of days' time. But
awesome, yeah.
Again, absolute pleasure to have had you on, man. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you, man.
But
awesome, man.
I'm hoping to get to an iBattle event at some point towards the end of the year. So fingers crossed, I'll see you there.
Oh, absolutely, man. Let me know, yo. You'll have a great time.
Definitely.
Like, you'll have a fucking awesome time.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Just keep me in the loop. Let me know.
100%. But yeah, nice to talk to you, man. And I hope you stay safe over there.
Yeah, you too, man.
Take care.
Thank you. You too. Peace.